So we'll be talking about an interesting thing from my perspective. I think that I think that there are there is a problem with people at some point, and that is that mostly what people say is that they should be alone, or that they shouldn't need uh, anything else than themselves in order to be happy. Like, that's their premise. And what I wonder is, uh, why do people think that? Because if we go to talk about it, if we analyze it, it doesn't make sense, because we as people are, by definition, just because we are humans, uh, we are social. We are like, human beings are sociable. They have to socialize in order to be happy. That means you cannot be completely happy if you are not with people. Uh, if you don't rely on anyone, then you won't be happy. Because even though you can manage, and I'm not saying that you should be completely independent to someone, because it doesn't make sense. Like, you as a human being also need to be independent, because can if you need to to rely on someone, then what will happen is that you won't be able to go through life, or to overcome things, uh, uh, without help. So then we have a contradiction. Let's say there is something that shouldn't be, or something that is wrong. Because what do we have to do? Do we have to rely on people, or do we have to be independent? And what I would answer, and what I think is the most uh, sensible thing to do, is to it maybe it may sound obvious, but you have to make a balance. Like, if you don't have friends, and have the capacity of relying on yourself, uh, then you won't reach the happiness itself, or not as much as you can. Like, if we could be more or less happy, I think I'm pointing that because I think that all people want to be happy at some point. Like, I don't I cannot think of anyone that can say, or that may say that they are they're, let's say, like, some people need, like, sorry, again, people need some things in order to be uh, happy. For example, maybe you need uh, to be able to do some things, like, I don't know, draw, play football, and have sex, for example. And and if you say no, you say, okay, if I have this, I would be completely happy, or as much happy as I can be, because I have no expectations left. Well, in order to acquire that level of happiness, you need people and independence. But you need people. I mean, you cannot face your life always being alone, or being independent, because that's maybe the mistake that's made by most types of people. What I'm trying to say is, if you uh, have a look at what people do, or how uh, the how people vary, what you will find out, what you will find out is that uh, I there is certain combinations of personalities that gets to the point that I am talking about. That means that there are many kinds or many personalities that eventually end up uh, end up in the same position. Of course, everyone, all people are different, so what happens to me doesn't necessarily happen to you. Like, it's not necessary that to happen. But if we think of the reasons that can cause it to happen, this thing of thinking that you can be happy being completely alone, uh, you may get scared because it's quite it's quite unexpected and surprising, but in a negative way. Like, if you are the kind of people that I am, that's I think that I am someone that wants to help everybody every time. And when you think of these things, uh, you get that impression, that feeling. You get at your look at around you. What do people suffer the most, or what's the scariest thing to be through of? We could talk about suicides. We could talk about I don't know, when someone dies in your close to you, someone that you love, or that you feel that you need them in your lives, need them, or whatever, like a kind of bond that connects you both, and it's a very important bond. So those are two examples of this, and what I've come to say here now is the third. Let's say, I'm not making a chronological order or anything like that. I'm just listing. Uh, it's very uh, it's this kind of things uh, that we don't know why happen, and they happen, and it's not that we don't know them, but that no, I forgot it. So to keep talking because I got lost. This thing of thinking that you don't need anyone, please, if you are one of the people that think like that, please stop thinking like that. Like, you are harming yourself. Like, honestly, you are harming yourself because putting you apart or making you be alone uh, by any way, like, it doesn't matter how, but if you do it, you should stop because you are denying something that is not deniable because it's true, and it's nothing uh, bad or negative or anything like that attached to it. Like, we as people attach things to where they are not. Like, you create bonds, but not bonds, but relations between things that may not have one, or that, or maybe that relation uh, predicates about the social cultural problems, let's say, because if your culture tells you that being alone it's okay or it's good, uh, something is wrong there. Like, uh, so you have to you have to be aware of these things and do something about it, because many people go through that and suffers of that, and if they if you could say something to them and helping them, wouldn't you do? Wouldn't you? Like, do it, say it, tell them. And even if you are not one of these people, uh, um, it doesn't matter. You as a person, as a human being, should understand that even if you are not concerned about it, you should do something about it, because not as an obligation, but maybe, if, like, be empathic to the other, and it won't be anything bad to you to say this to someone, to give them this advice. Don't think that you shouldn't rely on people, because it's very sad that this happens. And I'm starting to be redundant, so I will close up. I will end up, or end this thing, because I don't think that I can say much more. Well, in fact I can, but it will start being redundant, as I said. So think about it.